So if we could start this meeting by turning our attention inwardly. And welcome our experience just as it is, as it appears. You welcome both whatever appears to you without knowing it. And you welcome yourself as this aware presence. In this welcoming, there is a recognition. Consciousness knows it is, and welcomes itself as this presence, as well as this knowingness, the knowing that I am. It is a wordless recognition where the mind, meaning thoughts and sensations, are the shadow of being, meaning in this recognition, being the I am, and awareness, I know I am, without any notion of what I am, is absolute. I titled this meeting, "What is meditation and how do I meditate?" Which was suggested by Umer. The ultimate meditation is God knowing itself, being itself. a non-objective knowingness, as well as knowing the world, body, mind, the infinite universes, to be myself. So in the ultimate meditation, there is no meditator, there is no separate subject or separate object. The wave knows itself to be water, the current within the ocean knows itself to be water, the ocean knows itself to be water. The non-dual understanding. So meditation is the non-dual understanding. In this understanding, there is no one who is doing anything, who is moving closer and closer to the goal. That slate is wiped clean. One could say that meditation is our true nature, the nature of the universe, the reality of the universe. Thus, one could say that everything is meditation. There is only meditation, there is no separation. And from the relative perspective, meaning from the perspective that here I am, this person, this personal body-mind. From that perspective, what is meditation? So from the perspective of the body-mind, the person, meditation is turning one's attention towards truth. Beneath and beyond the layers and layers of beliefs and thoughts and memories and sensations and stories. Beyond and all the ideas and notions that we have about ourselves, about the world, beyond our conceptual realm. There is a reality which is not defined by our thinking and our feeling and our opinions and our past experiences. This reality is in fact that which defines our experience. The substance, one could say, of our experience. And meditation from this limited perspective, the me perspective, is turning one's attention in the direction of the unknown, of that which is not the product of the mind. We turn our attention towards God, towards truth, either because we have a glimpse into truth, beyond the illusion of the me, beyond the personal cocoon, or we have an inner inkling, an inner intuition of truth. Meditation is love, love for truth. In our life, whenever we operate from truth and from wisdom and from love, it is meditation. In meditation, consciousness is meditating itself through us. It is not a personal doing, although we invite the mind to align itself, with love and beauty. To align itself with the peace of being. To align itself with wisdom. Which is not selfish. You meditate whenever truth knocks on your door, whenever God knocks on your door. It reminds you that nothing is about yourself, about your personal self, that everything is about Him, is about her, the deity, the divine truth, not the personal God, the universal reality that we share as one. the reality that we are, in spite of the beliefs otherwise. The one ocean that we are, irrespective of the various waves and currents. You meditate whenever you sink into being, rather than frolicking on the surface of thoughts and feelings, which are just movements on the surface. Whenever you sink deeply into being, there's a recognition of being, which is impersonal, which has no edges. In meditation, the personal cocoon, the edges of personhood, the me feelings and stories and thoughts are seen not only in that they refer to I incorrectly, but in that they are without any substance. What appears to you to be so important and so tragic in daily life is seen for what it is in meditation. It is seen to be empty, made out of images and bodily sensations. In the belief that I am this person is seen to be a belief. Thoughts that have not been proven to be true. Meditation is not something that you do. There is no doer. In wisdom, in ignorance there is. In ignorance there is the belief in a doer, the impression of a doer. But in reality, in wisdom, in truth, there is no one meditating. This understanding, living itself in your life, is meditation. And whenever you leave this understanding and you return to my past and my future, my failures and my successes, my regrets and my hopes, you have stepped into ignorance. And in ignorance, there is no meditation. There is the personal impression, seeking, resisting, regretting, hoping, fretting, unhappily. Meditation is not an activity in time. It's your direct knowingness. As this transparent presence, as this borderless, impersonal awareness. The mind surrenders to that. The body lives that understanding, expresses it, manifests it. Any questions?
Yes, Magdi. Hello, Magdi. Right, Magdi, can you hear me?
Magdi, can you hear?
Hello, Magdi. I think he cannot hear us.
Yeah, type in the chat box and let him know.
Oh, I have you muted. Let me see. Do I? No, I don't have you muted.
So can you hear
Umair.
us now?
No, you have to unmute yourself, I think.
I can hear Uma.
Have. Let me rejoin.
Can you hear me, Magdi?
Magdi, can you hear any of us?
Magdi, hello. Can you hear us? Okay, bye-bye.
Magdi,
One moment, let me see. Oh,
Just a
I'm not
Magdi?
hearing you, Holger. You are
You
speaking,
hear me?
Holger? I'm not hearing you.
I'm
Okay, hold
speaking.
on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you.
Hey, Magdi, can you hear me now?
Yes, now I do. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Right, so I'll start.
Okay.
So you said in the beginning of this talk that in the ultimate meditation, there is no separate subject and object. The wave knows itself to be water. The current within the ocean knows itself to be water. The ocean knows itself to be water. Ultimate meditation is this non-dual understanding. In this understanding, there is no one doing anything or moving closer to the goal. So this first stage of understanding or being is ultimately reached through our contemplation and inquiry. Is that right? Because you said consciousness knows itself directly, independent of the body mind, but it can also know itself indirectly by using the body mind. And the former is what you recommend as contemplation, and inquiry, you recommend the indirect method.
Well, the path is the following. First, we contemplate that I, consciousness, that I is consciousness, that I refers to the reality that perceives, the reality that is. And that this reality, which we refer to as I, or awareness, or consciousness, is not, let me adjust the volume here. That there is no evidence that this reality, that consciousness, is dependent on the brain or is dependent on the mind. That in fact, both the material world, what we refer to as perceptions, and thoughts, which we refer to as mentation or the mind, they arise within awareness, and that their reality is not outside of awareness. They do not have a reality outside of awareness, that their reality is awareness.
Yeah.
So the direct understanding is that I is awareness, and that this awareness is the reality of the world, body, mind. Once that's clear, the next understanding is that this reality is one. There is one reality. In other words,
Non-dual.
there are no limits. There isn't an edge. There isn't like my personal reality and your personal reality. They're not two, it's one reality. Now, when alongside this direct contemplation, there is the contemplation of our experience. We live in the world of our forms, thoughts, relationships, etc. So it is possible within your mind, meaning in your life, which has a mind aspect and has a world aspect and has a body aspect. So in your experience, you can contemplate that you are perceiving and you are acting and you are thinking from the belief that I am a separate self. I am a male or female, whatever, a body mind, that I am a personal body mind. And you can contemplate what is the significance of this assumption. You will find that the significance or the impact of this assumption, of this belief, is unhappiness. That in your mind, there is division between good and bad, between beautiful and ugly, between good and evil, and between past and future. You will find that in your body, there is the sense of limitation, the sense of opacity, the impression of mortality. And you will find in the world, there is the beautiful and the ugly. There is that which you like and you dislike. There is that which hurts you and that which makes you happy. And you can contemplate, you can ask yourself, how come I am having this experience? What is it that's making this experience? How come the world, the body, and the mind seem to be a realm of suffering? And this contemplation will lead you eventually to realize that the suffering is not in the world, is not in the body, is not in the mind. It's in the belief that produces separation, the belief that I am Magdi, that I am a person, that I have a history, that I am the body mind, confusing myself to be a personal self. You will find that unhappiness will arise for you over and over whenever you refer to yourself as a person.
Magdi, wait.
Yes.
The 5 points you gave us to me and Thamar, they were slightly different. They were of the first step is inquiry and contemplation into the belief that I am Magdi who has been born and will die. So you said, what proof, what evidence is there that I awareness is the body mind? There is no evidence in this whole belief.
Right.
So you said the first step which can be taken is that to challenge the old belief model that I am a mortal being.
Right.
So if you were to take me through this right now, this stage in inquiry, prove it to me right now that there is no evidence in the old model that I am Umar who has been born and will die. Bring out your experiments, direct path all the way, I don't care, just do it.
You prove to me that there is evidence that I is the body-mind.
The body is a body, and I is what identifies with the body. That's all the proof I have.
What? I didn't. What is the proof?
I said the body is the body, and the I is what identifies with the body. That is the only proof I have at the moment.
When you said the body is the body, I mean, you're saying nothing. I mean, the body is an experience. We're having
An ongoing experience.
There is an experience of, for example, the perception. You may perceive an image in the screen, so there is a perception. Or you can perceive a sensation of your feet on the ground. That's a sensation. So the body is an experience. It's made out of perception, sensations, and images.
Right. It's a continuous experience. It doesn't end.
I don't know about continuous. I don't know about no, that's not true. In deep sleep, there is no body. So I cannot agree with you that it is continuous. I just I gave you an example of the discontinuity of the body. In anesthesia, during anesthesia, there is no body. I could, remove one of your arms. The surgeon could remove one of your arms, or there is nobody. So I cannot agree with you that it is continuous. I would say it is discontinuous. Yes. Now, what was your evidence that that awareness? What was it? Awareness refers to the body. What was your evidence?
Right. There is no evidence that I awareness refers to the body, but still there is awareness and then there is body. Why can there be just one? There are both.
There is awareness and there is body. And what was the last thing you said? How? What?
I said, why can there be only one? Why does it have to be both?
They are not two. If you look right now, for example, at your image on the screen, right? You could say there is awareness and there is an image, right? There are two. You could say there are two. But when you look at where is this image, because if there are two, then awareness is here and the image is there. But when you look at where is the image, you will not find any image out there. You will find the image to be intimate with awareness. In other words, the awareness and the image are not two.
So do we say that awareness is the body itself and body is awareness?
No, I would say that awareness is the reality of the body. In other words, I would say that water is the reality of the wave. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because in deep sleep, there is no body, or between two perceptions, there is no perception. But yet awareness is. You don't disappear between two perceptions. This is why I say that, okay, there is a perception and there is awareness, and the reality is awareness. The reality of awareness is awareness. The reality of the perception is awareness. There are not two. In language, we say awareness and perception, but that's just because in the realm of language, in the realm of the machine, the body-mind machine, we use a program, the program of language, which is intermittent. We cannot in language speak the absolute. So in language, we can only speak about the absolute, but we are speaking in the limitation and within the limitations of language.
Okay, so why is it that awareness is so subtle and the perceptions of the body and the world are so palpable, so obvious?
Because
even though awareness is our reality.
Because when you put your finger in front of your eye, the perception of your finger is predominant, and the field, the vastness of awareness is veiled. So the veil is the belief that veils awareness. The belief that veils awareness is that awareness is me. Is above.
So, yeah, so how would one go about undoing this belief that
We are doing it right now.
but it is like you said, like I said, it's so subtle that it doesn't even feel like awareness is the reality in which the body appears.
Well, okay, then tell me, what is the reality of the body?
Like you said, in deep sleep, there is no body.
Well, what is the reality of the body right now?
It is here.
What is the reality of the body?
It is just here. It is present. It just is.
It's out there, like in floating in space?
No, like something concrete. You can touch it. You can feel it. You can outline it.
Yes. So so it is the reality of the body is awareness.
Right. You cannot touch awareness, so it is subtle. Isn't that right?
You know, love is the greatest emotion, love and beauty and joy and freedom. Can you touch love?
No, you can feel it, but you cannot even feel awareness.
Well, what you feel is the echo of love within your body mind, but you cannot feel love.
And yet somehow we're supposed to take this this subtle feeling as our true nature.
Which subtle feeling?
This subtle noticing of awareness.
What's subtle about being aware that you're aware? It doesn't appear subtle to me. Awareness is the elephant in the room. It's not subtle.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why is it so subtle to me and to all of us who try?
It's subtle to you because you still imagine, or you're referring a you that is the personal mind, and you are asking, how come it is subtle that the little mind cannot perceive or cannot know awareness? So your question is, how come I, a candle, cannot know the heat of, cannot know the sun, cannot light up the sun, or some, maybe it's a bad metaphor. How can I, a limited mind, how come I, a limited mind, does not know God? Because a limited mind is not what you are. A limited mind there is no limited mind. There is just this perception. There is this perception, this sensation, which is arising right now within the elephant, which is awareness. Right?
Well, the only thing I can say is that the perceptions are limited and they are always changing, but I cannot say that awareness is the big elephant in the room.
Well, awareness is not changing.
Yeah, that I can agree with.
Right, it's not changing. And you don't have an experience that awareness is limited. I agree that the experiences, perceptions, feelings, whatever, are limited. But awareness is undeniable. Can you deny awareness right now? I'm not talking concept.
No, because I am aware.
Right. So how can you? You're speaking about that which is undeniable in your experience, and at the same time you are saying there is no elephant in the room. That doesn't make sense. you are speaking about is something that's undeniable in your experience, which we're referring to as awareness. And in the same sentence, you're saying, where is the elephant in the room?
I don't know, man. Thing looks sketchy to me because awareness is so subtle, yet it is our true reality, and I just can't wrap my mind around that.
Okay, that is because we are so used from the mind perspective to give reality to objects, to perceptions, to the oak tree in the yard, to the ocean, to the lake, to the car. We give a reality, and we have been giving reality, an independent reality, to our feelings, our sensations, our perceptions, right?
Yeah.
So from that perspective, awareness is not an object. It's nothing. From the perspective of our experience of objects and sensations and feelings and relationships and emotions, there is no such thing as there isn't awareness as an experience, as a phenomenal experience. So when you come from the model of reality is a phenomenal experience, then yes, I agree with you. Consciousness from that perspective is subtle and is
hazy and all that stuff.
Is something,
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, conspiracy. Yeah, it's a conspiracy. So that's, you are expressing what we all know, that we are operating from the perspective of the materialist model and the realist model, that reality is our thoughts, our minds, and reality is the galaxies and the rain and the oak tree in the yard, which we refer to as phenomenal. Our experience is phenomenal, and we have limited reality to be the content of our experience, the phenomenal aspect of our experience. And also, not only we have materialized and our experience, but we also have materialized ourselves. In other words, not just the body made out of flesh and bones, but even I. We've materialized I, which is now awareness, consciousness, to be made out of a material and the mental. So now consciousness has been materialized to be the body and the mind, matter and mind. And
right, yeah.
As we do that, Umer, we experience the sense of limitation because the body is limited, the mind is limited. So now I is also limited. And we experience the fear of death because the body is going to die. All sorts of things can happen to the body. So now we also experience I as being mortal. And we live that way. I mean, we live all our life that way until we start to look a little deeper into these things. For whatever reasons, we somehow something knocks on our door. I don't know, and we start looking in these things. We start wondering, and then we come to understandings. The understanding reveals to us beyond the mind. Understanding is not in the mind. It reveals to us snippets of truth.
Right, but we do have some control over it. Like, for example, yesterday we talked about how we can exhaust the mind and its possibilities so that the only thing that is left is clear awareness itself. And then it is seen, awareness sees that, okay, wow, awareness is the only thing in the room.
Yes.
And this is one possibility. So we can talk about that. But for example, we do this regularly in Shikantaza. We sit there doing nothing, just letting all our experiences flow through. And then we see that there is one thing which is becoming more and more prominent. And that is, well, I would say that is awareness itself. Do you agree?
Yeah, the mind can be used in the right direction, in the direction of the inquiry, the contemplation. Shikantaza is not just sitting doing nothing. Just want to make a comment. Shikantaza is an alert. There is an alertness to this doing nothing. There's an alertness. That's very important in Shikantaza. Yeah, the mind is not the enemy, not an enemy. Is a tool.
It's a tool. Yeah.
If it is used in the right direction. You could have a hammer to build the table. You could have a hammer to hit yourself on the head. Francis often talks about this joke. We like to hit our head with a hammer, and so then he talks about this guy who hits his head on with a hammer. And when you ask him, why are you doing that? And he says, because it feels good when I stop, It feels good when I stop, something.
Right, those are just the Zen stories. But I would say, what's the point of this abiding as this subtle presence, this impersonal awareness, when the shift of the personal identity is not here? I mean,
right.
What are we supposed to do then?
Right. So this is why it's really important when you have that question to look at this personal identity, because the key thing that's sort of the bottle, the cap on the bottle that's preventing, that's blocking the genie from coming out of the bottle is this identification with the body mind. So you contemplate this identification. How could I be defined and limited by that which I perceive? Yes, there is a body mind, which is that which I perceive. There is a world, which is that which I perceive. How could I, whatever that I is, be limited and defined by that which it perceives? It's a good question. Like you perceive these glasses. You perceive this perception. You perceive the sensation of your back against the couch. How could any of these perceptions, thoughts, sensations be used to define in any way whatsoever that which perceives them, that which I am? So any way that, in whichever way you define awareness, you define it, you conceptualize it, is false. Because any definition is objective. It's a thought that appears about awareness. A thought can appear about awareness, but it doesn't define it. Awareness defines the world, defines thought. But it's not the other way around. So we often use our feelings to define awareness. And in many cases, we are seeking awareness as a better feeling.
But didn't you say the reality that I am awareness is much, 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 much better than the reality that I am this body, mind, Magdi?
No, I would say that one is true, correct, and the other one is false. There is no independent reality outside of awareness. So I wouldn't say that the reality of awareness is a better reality than the reality of the body. No, I would say that.
No, I mean, it's a better reality in terms of motivation for practice. So we don't fall off and say, oh, okay, there's awareness in the background, there's body in the foreground. Let's just forget about everything. No, that is not what we're doing here. We're here for a massive shift. That's why we use this as motivation, as a cornerstone for practice. That the reality of awareness, which we don't know at the moment, even though it is something, but it is better than what we are already having right now, which is a limited reality of the body mind.
Yeah, I think that's it. I go along with that. That the position that, you know, I am an immortal body mind. I wish I've tried those shoes on and I wore them long enough. They're worn out. They're not comfy. So yeah, I would say that this model is an obsolete model, and a better model is I is the reality of awareness, consciousness.
So the second step you gave us was, once that understanding is clear that I am not Omar, I am not this mortal body mind, that I refers to that reality which perceives, then you have to live with the new model, because falsehood of the old model had been seen. From belief, I know that I am Omar, to no belief at all, except I know that I just am, but I don't know what I am.
Yes, we often come to the understanding that the model I am the body mind is a false model, but then in our life we go back to, oh my God, why did she just do this to me? Why did he do this to me? When am I gonna get this? And why did I lose? We go back to the old model in our life. So it's better to that's working against yourself. You take a step forward and a step backward, so you don't go anywhere. Also, when you see through the falsehood of the model, I am that which appears to me, I am the mortal body mind. When you see the falsehood of that model, you arrive at, I know I am, because, well, because the first contemplation is that there is consciousness. Consciousness is real. You arrive to, I know that I am, I know that there is presence, and I know that I'm aware. I know that this presence is conscious, is aware, but I don't know what that is. I cannot say it's an extraterrestrial. I cannot say it's a snake. I cannot say it's a man. I cannot say it's a tree. I don't know what it is. So you arrive to not knowing. If you arrive to not knowing and you can live from that, you don't leave this not knowing. You don't go back to, well, yeah, it is a better man now. It's an enlightened man. A lot of people speak about enlightened beings. They say, oh, you know, the enlightened, when you are enlightened, it's better than not being enlightened. So in other words, they go back to the model of I'm enlightened, which is back to I'm a man, I'm a person, I'm a woman, I'm somebody. If you don't go back to a knowing, then you live out of I am aware, I don't know what that is.
Right. So this second stage,
yes,
this is the advanced stage. This is caused by a massive shift. It's not caused by whatever we're doing here right now, because
I wouldn't call it a massive shift, Omer, because this understanding is available to us.
Because to make a proclamation like I am not the body mind, I am awareness, so why would I go back to the old model? It's basically a claim to sainthood, because this is something really massive. You need to understand that.
Okay.
I mean, you just proved to me that I am not the body. I am something rather than this perception that I am the body feeling, the me feeling. but in the first stage, people can arrive there in two ways. First is they get there naturally, like your glimpse without any practice, that I am not this body mind who I took myself to be. I am something else, whatever I am. It is not this mortal body mind, it is something eternal. And the other way to get here is to, like you say, visit satsang and practice awareness and contemplation, and then realize that I am, wait, just a second, and then realize the same realization that I am not this body mind, that I am immortal, I am eternal.
Yes.
But because I contemplated so much on awareness, I practiced, I read the books, I did everything. I know that this is because of my contemplation or my practice of awareness. So I'm not going to say that I am not the body mind and nothing at the same time. I'm going to say I am the body mind and I am this awareness.
Why will you say you are the body mind and awareness?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying if the person follows the second path, I mean, the path of practice is going to say, I am not the body mind.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding you. Okay, continue.
Right. So if, like I said, there are two ways of approaching this realization. First, it can happen spontaneously, like it happened with you. And then it can happen for those who want it. It can happen with practice, like contemplation on awareness and practicing awareness to the stage where one gets a massive shift or glimpse or anything, or just the basic understanding, which doesn't go away, that I am not this body mind. I am also not nothing. It's not like I don't have any clue at all, because I contemplated on awareness. I followed Magdi, I followed Francis, I followed all these teachers. So I know this is because I am awareness that this body mind is has gone through this shift. Isn't that right? It's a pretty long question.
You could say that the body mind are impacted by the understanding of truth, the revelation of truth, the realization of truth. Yes. And I would also say that the body mind are associates in the path. They have their role and function in the path. Just on a side note about gradual versus sudden, okay, I would say that understanding is both gradual and sudden. But this is just a side note. I don't want to get distracted right now by that, but I just want to mention that because you did make like two camps. These two camps are not, there isn't like a wall between those two camps. Those two camps are in the same corral, in the same field.
Right, but there's no point in discussing that because we are not getting the sudden realization. We only have one way to go here. One way to go here, yeah.
Understanding, although there may be quite a bit of mind activity pre-understanding, understanding is sudden. Sudden meaning it is not in time.
So it's a shift.
Yes, the shift is not in time, but the activities pre and maybe post the shift are in time, are in the activities of whatever, the mind and body that are precede understanding are in time, but not the understanding. I somehow lost track of the core of your question, which you had a long.
Yeah. So the core.
Can you say it in more brief terms?
Yeah, the core of the question was. How would you just prove to me right now in the first part that I am not the body, that my old belief system is completely demolished. I mean, I can say with certain clarity that I am not this body, I am not these perceptions that appear in time.
Right.
But I cannot also say at the same time, as if I had a shift, that I am awareness.
Okay.
Because you can clearly see that I have confusion in the matter.
Okay.
So if I were to say that I am awareness,
okay,
and I had confusion, then that's not true.
Hold on. Okay, so there is clarity, there is an understanding, that I am not that which appears. I am not the body mind.
Yes, a conspiracy.
Okay, so there is the understanding that I am not the body mind. And the next thing is you say is, but I don't have the understanding that I am awareness. Okay. Now, is there any doubt to you that in this moment, there is something rather than nothing?
No. It's a conspiracy, man.
So it is not clear for you that there is something rather than nothing in this moment?
No, it is clear that there is something.
Oh, it is clear. Okay.
You said, is there a doubt? I said no.
Oh, okay. So it is clear to you that there is something rather than nothing. Okay. In other words, that there is a reality, whatever that is. Are you on board?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, that's good enough. That's good enough. Now, this reality, actually, maybe I jumped too quickly by saying it's good enough. I just want to ask one more question. Is it clear to you that this reality is just, there is no other reality, there isn't a possibility of another reality. There's just one reality.
In this moment, yeah,
No,
there's
no,
no
yeah.
other reality.
Well, what other moment? I mean, what other moment? I mean,
Right. I don't know what other moment will there be when I will get to say.
So the question is it clear that there is one reality?
Yeah, it's clear, but
Okay.
I'm not sure what that reality is.
Good. Okay. So if there is one reality, then it is also the reality of I. You follow?
No, I don't have a hard time with this stage here, stage 2.0, whatever it is.
You said you do or you don't? I didn't hear you. Yeah, I didn't hear.
I wouldn't say that this reality is the reality of the I. I would say this reality is that reality in which I appears.
So are you saying that there is one reality and there is something else called I, and this I appears in this one reality?
Well, the I just appears in this one reality, but it doesn't identify with this reality.
No, answer my question. My question is, are you saying there is one reality and that there is also an I, something else called an I, which appears in this reality?
No, my I is never changing. It's always the same.
Okay, so are you saying that there is one reality and there is within this one reality an I which appears? That's what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Now, this I which appears within this one reality, is it like a boat that appears in the ocean? You know, like a ship that appears in the ocean?
Well, like awareness, it is subtle, very, very subtle.
Yeah, so it's a subtle ship that appears in the ocean?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so your experience is that there is one reality and there is I that appears as a subtle form within this one reality.
Yes.
Okay, so my question to you is, what knows that? There is something that is saying that is perceiving, that is aware of this one reality and is aware of that subtle appearance within this one reality. What is it that's seeing that, that's aware of that? What is it that knows that and is speaking that and saying that? Something must be perceiving that, knowing that, and speaking of it.
Right. It is the knowing itself which knows that.
So you say now there is a knowing which knows that. So there is one reality, and there is a subtle I that appears within this one reality, and there is a knowing that knows that. Yes?
Yes.
What is your relationship with this knowing?
Sometimes I'd say it is too subtle, and sometimes in meditation it is
No.
more
Now,
noticeable.
you're speaking now about it. You're speaking now about your experience. So you say there is.
My relationship with this knowing is that I appear in this knowing.
So okay. So what you're saying, there is one reality, and there is an I, a subtle I that appears within this one reality, and there is a knowing that knows that, and I appear within this knowing.
Yes.
That's it's a very complex model. I need to smoke what you are smoking. This is a very complex model, Umer. So now you're saying there is a reality, one reality, and there is a me that appears within this one reality, an I that appears, a subtle I that appears within this one reality, and there is a knowingness that knows that, and there is an I that appears within this knowingness. Okay, what is the relationship between the I that appears within this knowingness and the knowingness? Or what is the relationship between the I that appears within this knowingness and the I that appears as a subtle appearance within that reality that you referred to a minute ago? You following my
yeah, I can say that this the subtle I, which is my personal I, is finite, and it's impermanent. But this knowing is permanent, and it doesn't have any boundary to itself. It doesn't have any location to itself.
Yes, and what is it that knows this personal I? Is it not I that knows this personal I?
Which I?
Huh?
Which I?
How many I's are there?
Just one. The subtle I that is the me feeling.
And what is it that knows that subtle I, me feeling? Something is speaking about it right now. Is it not I that is perceiving that? Is it not you that is speaking about the subtle feeling?
Oh, I would just use the word awareness or knowing that knows that subtle I.
Okay, is it not you that is aware of the subtle I?
Yeah, it is that awareness that is aware of that
It's not
subtle
you.
I.
It is not. Yes, it is you that is aware of the subtle I.
This is the other stage we have to reach. I just can't, identify with this awareness.
No, forget about identifying with this awareness. We're not talking about identifying with anything. We're just saying that there is obviously there is a subtle I that you're speaking about, and because you are speaking about it, you must be perceiving it or experiencing it in some way or the other.
Right. I am using the body mind to perceive it.
So, no. I'm not talking about, I'm not defining what is it that perceive it. I'm saying you must be perceiving it. I'm not defining you as being a body mind. Maybe
Right. I'm just saying I'm using the body mind to perceive it.
Well, the body mind is that personal sense of self that you are perceiving. It's the form that you are perceiving, is the subtle I that you're perceiving. You can call it body mind. It's okay.
I agree with that.
So take a look at that. Okay, take a look at that. You're presuming two eyes, that you are somehow, that you are two, that you are a sensation, a body mind sensation, and that you are also the I that perceives that. It cannot be two. I mean, that. Anyways.
Yeah, the direct path is not so direct anymore. But I still think we have to solve this dilemma. Otherwise, I'm gonna be stuck in it for a long time. Like you say,
there's which dilemma are you looking at right now, Umar?
The same one we're looking at. The one where you say that there is this awareness, there is this knowing, which is this awareness, and then there's this body mind which is perceived. by this
Okay.
awareness.
So
Yet for some reason, awareness cannot say that it is Homer. It cannot say that.
well, awareness meaning presence. I am aware of Umer. I'm hearing Umer's voice. And there is on my screen, it says Umer, U-M-E-R. So I perceive Umer as I hear him and I perceive his name on the screen, which is the name that was given by your mom and dad to the body. So I perceive Umer in the same way that I perceive this perception, in the same way that I hear this sound.
But you're gonna tell me how to do it.
Well, ask yourself, am I perceiving Magdi's voice in the same way that I'm perceiving the sound, in the same way that I'm perceiving my sensation, the sensation of my feet on the floor?
Yes.
They're arising in the same space.
Yeah.
And that's what I refer to as the spaciousness of awareness, the reality of awareness. So we perceive the world, like you perceive, if somebody turns on the light in your room right now or turns off the light, you will perceive a change in luminosity. In the same way that you will that you're perceiving the sound, the sound of my voice. So we perceive the world, we perceive the body, we perceive thoughts in the same space, let's say, then which is the space of awareness that I perceive on the same level, on the same plane. I perceive the world, body, mind, and the I that perceives thoughts, sensations, the body, is not the body.
Yeah, it is just perceiving.
It is just perceiving. It is perceiving, and that this perceiving is not independent of I awareness. It is synonymous to I awareness. It's not a personal awareness, mind you. It's not a personal awareness. It is awareness.
Didn't you say that? Yeah, didn't you say that in the first stages, you first see this awareness as a personal awareness, and then when you get the non-dual realization, you see that it is the same awareness which everybody has?
Yeah, one could say that, but we don't need to wait. We can right now come to the understanding that awareness does not refer to the personal mind. Of course, there is a personal mind, meaning with this body mind. This body has a particular experience, personal set of experiences than different bodies. That's the different minds, and even within the same day, if the same body can have different body and different mind experiences. But not to be confused with that which perceives the body, that which perceives the mind, that which perceives the world. That is not the mind. So like a computer, it can run various programs and different functions will appear on the screen, etc. But that which is aware of the functioning of the computer is not the computer, is not the CPU or the video card or whatever, it's not the power supply.
I mean, I just can't reconcile this truth that this I awareness and this perceiving are one and the same. I mean, when you ask me why you can't, who are you asking? Are you asking the body mind, or are you asking the perceiving behind this body mind?
I'm never talking to the body mind. How could I talk to a computer? I mean, to a stone. The body mind is an instrument. I don't talk to any instrument. I talk to the consciousness.
Right, you're talking to the true I, Omar.
There's only one I.
Yeah,
there isn't
but
a false.
It just won't recognize itself. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. It just won't recognize itself as a true I.
What would recognize I?
Awareness itself.
Yes, awareness recognizes awareness. So what would recognize I? I itself.
Yeah, but it just won't.
I recognizes I. Well, if it doesn't recognize I, what is it recognizing?
It's just recognizing itself.
Wait a minute. If it's not recognizing I, it's recognizing itself. That means it's recognizing I. Itself is I. What is it?
Right, but the body mind should have complete conviction that, okay, the true I is recognizing itself. Yet I can.
Okay, I got you. So you want the body mind to have conviction of that.
Right. Otherwise, I cannot say that this is true.
So you're asking the impossible, because the body mind is an instrument. The body mind cannot recognize, cannot confirm this recognition, but you can confirm this recognition. And once you confirm the recognition, the body mind will become sweet, peaceful, happy, easy.
So you're saying that it is always recognizing itself, so it's recognizing the true I. So what's missing here? What's wrong here?
So your question is, if consciousness already recognizing itself, why do I experience something wrong here? Something like that, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't feel that sweetness.
Right, because although consciousness is recognizes itself and knows itself, it is right now inviting an aspect of herself, inviting itself to this recognition. And all you have to do is say, yes, go along. But you say, no, I'm not going to go along until the body mind starts singing an opera and starts dancing a pas de deux. When the body mind will start shining in the dark, I will get on board. That's what you're doing. You are saying, why doesn't the body mind confirm that I refers to consciousness, to presence, to awareness? And I'm inviting you to look at the body mind cannot do that. The body mind is something you experience. You experience thoughts, perceptions, sensations. They are neutral events. They're like the weather. They're an internal and an external weather. You're inviting the weather to recognize.
So awareness is, yeah.
No.
Awareness is using the body mind to speak to Magdi, to
Yeah.
recognize itself, to invite itself to its own recognition. So this is the only thing seekers have to do if they can, and this is what separates us from those who have recognized that recognition.
Consciousness uses the body mind as a, as you use a canoe, to get from one place to another. It's using it as a tool. It uses the body mind as a tool to speak about itself to itself. And all you need to do is to understand that.
So when does consciousness understands that and says, okay, I've got to the island, I can drop the tool now, I can drop the body mind now?
As soon as you understand what I'm saying,
as soon as awareness understands, you mean?
It's always awareness. I'm never talking to the freaking computer. I'm never talking to a body of flesh and bones. I'm talking to consciousness.
You're never talking to Omar, you're talking to the consciousness that is behind this, Omar.
Absolutely. I'm not talking to the blood and bone, sack of blood and bone that your mom and dad called Umar.
Right.
No, but I'm not denying there is an instrument, a body-mind instrument. I'm not denying. I'm saying there is a body-mind instrument. One is called Magdi, one is called Umar, one is called Zoe, Frank, etc. There are body-mind instruments. So consciousness is using the body-mind instrument in this moment to speak to itself, about itself. You get that?
Yes. Right, where is he?
That's all. That's all you need to do is get it. I get it. That's all.
So you said that Francis sometimes shares that awareness is a person who knows why they choose to do what they do, right? Because
repeat that. I'm sorry.
You said that Francis sometimes shares that awareness is a woman who doesn't know what is good for it. So
okay.
So this is what awareness is confused about. It wants to recognize itself. It wants to take itself as the true I, yet it can't. So why can't it? I just don't understand it.
Well, you know that you are. Yes?
Yep.
And you know,
mm-hmm.
that you are aware, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
And you know that which is aware is not the body mind, but is awareness itself, right?
Yeah. We're almost there.
Okay. So what's missing? You
recognition.
You know you are, and you know that you're aware, and you know that which is aware is not the body mind, but it's awareness. In other words, that you are awareness. Let me repeat. You know that you are, yes?
Yep.
And you know that you are aware, yes?
Yes.
And you know that which is aware is awareness itself, right?
Ditto.
So therefore, you know that you, awareness, are aware and not the body mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's missing?
The shift. The shift of enlightenment.
Okay, you are being stubborn. You come to the understanding and you say something else is missing. Don't worry. Just allow this just stay with this understanding. Revisit this understanding if you forget it. Revisit it. This understanding. This understanding will kill the virus. Will kill the virus. Okay. There is nothing missing.
I mean, Magdi, I asked another one like you who has realized Sahaja. I asked him, like, I recognize everything, that awareness. I am awareness. I am, no, that there is this awareness and there is this body mind, and the body mind is not the identity of this awareness. Awareness is just awareness itself. And then I asked him, where is the shift? What's going to take it? So he said that the shift occurs by accepting and letting go of everything, so that you become open to the grace which flows from above. And that is how you get that shift, that massive shift of enlightenment. But so they understand.
Sounds good to me.
Right. But like, what the hell, man? I mean,
do not seek a personal experience. Be watchful.
Yeah, just seek the shift.
Personal experience. Be watchful, because you separate yourself as a subject and an object. There is an object and you're the subject. You go back to the old model. There's nothing lacking to awareness. Awareness, when we say awareness, we're referring to reality, the one reality. Contemplate one reality. What could be missing to this one reality? What shift? What, contemplate that. Okay.
Because because you said to revisit this reality of awareness, revisit this awareness, this perceiving, so that the old model is not there anymore.
Revisit this understanding.
Yeah, revisit this understanding.
But keep in mind one important notice. If you are seeking an experience, you are in the dualistic model. You are back to the model of I am lacking, I, a limited, whatever.
You mean the body mind is seeking the experience or the awareness?
The body mind is just an instrument. When I say I, you are, when you say that I am lacking, you are at that moment using the false model. You're using the model that awareness, consciousness is limited and is lacking a shift.
Even though you have recognized yourself as awareness.
Yes, you can recognize yourself as awareness, but you still say, well, what is the shift? So
it's just got harder.
When you say, what is the shift? In that moment of saying, where is the shift? You have set unknowingly a limitation upon awareness. And you have unknowingly set a goal, which is called the shift, that once awareness gets that shift, it will become fulfilled. All of that you are doing when you ask the question, I get it, but where is the shift? You follow?
Yeah, but without the shift, I cannot say that you and I are on the same wavelength,
You and I are not on the same wavelength as body minds. You and I are on the same wavelength as consciousness.
Because there are stages in being, there are stages in recognition, like Sotapanna, we discussed in that group, right? Sotapanna, Anagami, Sakyagami, and Arahantship. Even in Zen, there are. So what is that? What is that except the shift itself?
You have to go to these other forums for those questions. In this forum, no.
Because you agree that such a thing as shift exists, right? Shifts happen, change, understanding develops.
Maybe I use the term understanding develops, but it doesn't sound like something that I would say now. Understanding is not at the mind level.
At the awareness level. But because if we agree that shifts exist, then it basically means that one person has them and the other person does not.
Let's put it the following way. Shifts exist until they cease to exist. Sooner or later, we have to arrive to the end of the shifts. And you are not going to arrive to the end of the shift via a shift.
So What is sahaja? I mean, it is not just knowing yourself as awareness.
Sahaja is truth, is reality, is what we truly are.
So what happened with you and Francis back then? Was that not a shift?
You know what? When God wants things to shift, she will shift them. Okay.
No, because even
So-
like you said, even if a person has the understanding that he is not the old model, he is this original model that he has awareness, there is still a tendency to go back to the old model.
Okay.
You don't have that.
That's
You
it.
don't have the tendency anymore.
So that whenever the tendency to go to the old model arises, this is where you can apply the proper discrimination and the proper action of not
Dispassion.
of not being of dispassion and not pursuing the emotions and the feelings and the old model.
And then you keep doing that over and over again.
Just do it whenever it arises for you. Don't worry about over and over. Just
Because
whenever you are in the unhappiness, don't proceed.
so you're basically saying that everybody is already sahaja. Everybody is enlightened, with or without the shift.
Exactly, except there isn't such a thing as everybody. There is just one reality. Everybody is the waves in the ocean. You could say the waves in the ocean, all the waves in the ocean are made out of water, yes. And all the waves in the ocean are the ocean, yes. Now, to be knowingly the water,
To be knowingly the water.
one moment.
Okay.
Have to completely let go of the past. Completely let go of all the methods, all the means. And
So when a shift happens, what happens in reality to awareness and body mind?
it is revealed. The true is revealed, and the false is revealed. The false is revealed to be false, and the true is revealed to be true.
But you just said right now when we did that experiment that I already know that awareness is my reality. So hasn't it been revealed already?
Well, it doesn't seem so because it hasn't fully landed yet. You still invite this understanding to live itself through you, through your body, through your breath, through your cells, through your DNA. Invite this understanding to live itself through you.
So to challenge this awareness to show itself on every front of the war, on every side of the battle, huh?
Yes.
Oh man.
And to live itself within every cell of your body, man. Within every breath, within every aspect of yourself. Invite this understanding to live itself because it's the truth.
So basically get firm in the conviction that this awareness is the truth of reality, and not just in satsang with you
Is reality, absolutely, yes, yes, absolutely.
all the time. Huh?
Absolutely.
Too bad it requires way too much noticing of this perceiving. It's not natural,
Well,
and shifts like tragedies and like the one that happened on 13 and things like that can throw you off mass so quickly that you may have to wait until the next canoe, whatever that is.
you know, God's invitation is always on, is always full on. God doesn't love you more on Tuesday and less on Wednesday and Thursday. God's love is across the board and is absolute. And God's reality is absolute. It's absolute.
So one of my friends wants to know, ask him if just being still can make one realize the truth without contemplating.
Absolute stillness, yes.
In absolute stillness
does not mean non-activity. Absolute stillness does not mean non-activity.
it means, like you said in the beginning of the satsang, where there's no separation between the meditator and the meditation, right?
There can be activity on the surface, but absolute stillness within.
So all our experiments are useless, and we just have to stay as this perceiving until we get until awareness opens up to itself and gets this massive shift.
No. There are all sorts of experimentations may appeal to you and may have their function and their effect, but ultimately you need to come to the absolute non-reliance.
So is there a way to, get to this understanding of truth without revisiting this absolute reality of awareness over and over again? The task just seems too daunting. I don't know, man. Somebody told me that if it's too daunting, then you're doing it with the mind. You're doing it with the mind and the body. You're not letting it do itself, its own thing. But I'm like, okay, well, it's still too daunting.
Sometimes you are practicing playing the violin and you're struggling with the play of the violin. And then you meet a violin player who's been playing the violin for very advanced years than you. And she can make a couple of small comments and adjustments that saves you a lot of time and hardship in your practice. So you have available to you that certain guidance. So there is a light that shines from within, and there is the light that appears to you from without, from without. So both the light from within drives you towards God, and the light from without calls you to God.
Okay, and what would you say about this? Say you spend 45 years to get to this massive shift of sahaja, and say a person says, you know what, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done with this enlightenment business, this enlightenment community. I'm done with all my experiments and experiences, even though if I had many shifts. Does the person have less of a chance as that person who revisits this reality as much as possible, whose awareness revisits this reality?
Yes. Now, if you love mathematics and you take math 1 and then you take algebra, then you take advanced algebra, you take calculus, and then you get to differential equations and you go, darn, you know, this is way too hard, and you give up. Then your love the mathematics up to, your love of mathematics is obviously limited because you still have, you know, differential equations, you have quantum theory, you have a lot of things ahead of you as a lover of mathematics. You don't stop because of the hardship of learning something along the way, you know. Same thing with if you're a guitar player and you start playing the guitar.
Those are body-mind examples, Magdi.
They are metaphors. They're not body-mind examples. They're metaphors.
Still, those metaphors apply to the body-mind.
If you love somebody and they live in Timbuktu, is that a body-mind experience too?
Sure.
Okay, what do you want me to talk about?
You're basically agreeing.
Your love for truth.
Yeah.
Your love for truth is hot, you know, then it doesn't matter. It's gonna burn. It's gonna burn for you. It's always gonna be burning for you. This is a non-body mind?
Yeah, because basically you just admitted that the person who wants it more, even though if it's body mind that wants it more, whether it's awareness wants it more.
Never the body mind that wants it.
Right. It is the God seeking God. It is the awareness of itself. His awareness is I awareness that wants it, and if the I awareness wants it more, then it will have a much closer, bigger chance to get there earlier.
No.
But if it doesn't put in the practice hours, if it doesn't use the body mind properly to put in the practice hours, then it's basically harming its chances.
Well, you know, sometimes it is practice hours, sometimes it is just, you know, contemplating the words of Ramana Maharshi or Jean Klein. Sometimes it is going for a walk in nature and contemplating presence and being and looking at the birds flying. It's not so much practice, and it could be practice, you know, it could be. So when you have love of truth on your mind, it's not just love of truth when you are practicing. Your love for truth is always there. When you love somebody, and even when they're away from you, they're never really away from you. They're always present in your mind, in your heart, in your, you know, you're maybe having a meal alone.
And this is the reason why awareness decides to decides to use the body mind to explore all these traditions and try all these practices because
Yes, but there is one comment, about like sometimes you may know too many things, but not to be expert at any. There is a saying, I forgot what it is. You can be knowledgeable about many things, but not expert at anything. So you have to also be watchful, you are not like, you don't go to every garden and every garden. When you come to one garden, then you have to sort of stay with that garden. If you go
right.
from many different traditions, many different teachers, you will not get to the comprehension because it takes time to come to the comprehension of the teaching with any one teacher.
Yeah, and then as you read their experiences, as you read their stories, you often see that there is sort of a final point in their story when they decide they've had enough. They won't do anything. They will sit under this bamboo tree or whatever the tree, the fig tree, like Gotama Buddha. He said, "I will not get up from this tree unless I see the reality of my nature." So, and that is how it happened with him. He spent 6 long years enduring that, and it just didn't happen until he sat down there for 40 days or how many days, and that is how it happened with him. And that is how it happened with Ramakrishna as well. He was going to kill himself. There was a sword behind the temple, and he was like, "I'm done with this." And he went there to reach for it, and in that moment, it happened for him. So like, we have that option too, huh? we can use the gun.
Yes. Umer, because it is already, we spent the whole
Yeah, I know.
session with you. I would like to just find out if there is anybody else who has a question. So anyone has any question, anything to share?
I have a quick follow-up. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes. Is this Amna?
It's Amna. Yeah, it's Amna.
Hello, Amna. Hello, Amna.
Hi.
Yes.
When you said about like not going to many gardens because it takes time, are you like suggesting that it's better to like stick with one teacher and like let it unfold?
Yes.
Rather than going to many teachers and like to speed up the process?
Yes, I am. There are first, it's really important that you find a teacher that you really resonate with, that you get the best teaching that you can from them. It's really resonating for you. Your questions are being addressed, are being answered, and you have a personal relationship with the teacher. And also that you don't want to go from teacher to teacher, not just because it takes a while to understand the teaching, to comprehend the teaching of that one teacher, but also because between teachers there may be different emphasis, different, not just that there may be different levels of understanding. Of course, the level of understanding is very important. You have to get to a resonance with the teacher, that you when you have a question, that question is being addressed to you at the level that resonates with you, where you sort of get it. Otherwise there's still some incompleteness. Also, you want a teacher that can address not just your question, but can also sort of present what's also around your question, what also may relate to your question. And yes, with a teacher, you you will develop a relationship of friendship, of affection, of mutual love and mutual appreciation. And if the opportunity is available, also you get to know the teacher, personally, and you have an opportunity to spend time with the teacher, to experience the teacher in your personal interaction with the teacher. So yes, I was recommending that.
So like following more than one teacher can actually slow down things?
If when you are with a teacher, it brings you to understanding about yourself, about truth. And it's not so much about feeling, I feel, it's not so much about feelings. It's much deeper than that. It's okay to be exposed and to listen. But I would say if you resonate with a teacher, then it's a good idea to go deeper, to dig deeper into that teacher's teaching until you get to the marrow, you get to the heart, to a teacher is not interested in the student. The teacher is interested in truth. Doesn't have a personal interest in the student. It has a loving interest in the student, interest in the love, in truth, and in sharing. And a teacher is available, accessible to the student. But I would say that you cannot dig deeply in too many holes simultaneously. You can dig deeper with one teacher, but this does not mean that there is a taboo against being exposed to other teaching. Now, there are traditions, you see. I would not mix traditions. I would go with the tradition that resonates the most to me at this moment, irrespective of the past. I used to be a Zen Buddhist way back when. I wouldn't work in two traditions, that you would stay with one tradition. This tradition here is Advaita, or the direct path. There, when it comes to the direct path, you want to stay in that tradition if that tradition resonates for you. Then you want to stay in that tradition.
Would you say something about how even within the same tradition, like every teacher has a completely different way of?
Yes. So within the same tradition, you can get an understanding from a certain teacher. Even if you stay long with them, you get quite an understanding from their teaching. But because there are so many facets to the diamond, listening to a different teacher from the same tradition can reveal to you another aspect of understanding that you recognize. So
Magdi, Magdi, wait a minute, just one final question. So I have the understanding that you had the understanding that when you met Francis just before the shift. So was it sort of a necessity when you had to meet him? I mean, would it have been okay for the awareness if you had not met him at all and if you did not have the final shift of Sahaja?
No.
You mean it's not okay?
No, I mean, without without the complete dissolution and of the sense of separation, there still remains a sense of separation. So
right, and this is where I am. There's still sense of separation.
Yeah, the Satguru is the guru that removes the final veil. But I want to continue to say one more thing to Amna's question, that within the same tradition, when you find a teacher that provides you with the broadest possible teaching, and you get the clarity, plus you have the accessibility, the availability, and the interaction. When many aspects of the teacher and the teaching are lining up within a certain tradition, then you can just follow in that direction.
So like just when you were talking about different aspects of the diamond, like how different teachers within the same tradition have different ways
Yes.
of, so just to make sure that I understood, like that could be helpful to help you see different aspects of the teachings, right?
Yeah, there are levels of understanding. You know, there is understanding. There are many understandings within the teaching, in the non-dual teaching, and so there are teachers with whom you keep feeling that it's the path is just keep opening for you, and so that would be, that's a direction that that you would follow. At some point, in your in the teaching, you arrive to sort of the end of your questions. When you arrive to the end of your questions, then you are sort of like soaking in the presence, in the company of the teacher. There are no more questions, but it's just a sort of a soaking into being. Now, as long as you have questions, you can go to get your questions addressed. You can go to different teachers to get your questions addressed. And you will find that with some teachers, you're getting your questions addressed and moving forward. And then at some point, you may find yourself drawn to getting other questions addressed from a different teacher. And that's okay as long as you are getting your questions addressed. What I mean by the question addressed is that your question is answered, you have is no longer a question. And as a result of your question being addressed, you are having less questions, and meaning you are experiencing more and more of the peace. You will continue to have some sort of question, as also your life is aligning itself with your understanding. So, because when our life is not aligned with our understanding, there is some sort of issues in our life that we are dealing with. And they bring up questions. These issues in our life, they bring up questions. And all questions are directly or indirectly questions about truth. And also there are questions to yourself. You also are the guru. You are you are the self. You are consciousness. And so there are questions within your life that you pose to yourself and that you contemplate within yourself, and you find answers within yourself to some of your questions. And sometimes some answers come to you from life, from friends, from So at some time there will be both the internal teacher and life as a teacher and your teacher as your teacher. There'll be all of that would be part of the teaching.
And then the other thing with Omar's conversation, like there's like what I understood when you said, like you have like the understanding that I'm awareness and I'm aware of this body mind and this body mind is appearing, all of that stuff. But then the experience of it just comes with time, like the knowing of it, rather than just an intellectual understanding.
Yeah. The understanding when we sort of challenge ourselves or invite ourselves to live according to our understanding, to be an expression of this understanding in our life, in our how we talk, how we act. So there is that aspect of the teaching where we live it as best we can, and as we're living it as best we can, it's slowly start to live itself through us. So initially we may have to sort of revisit our understanding, to revisit, what is it that is real? What is the reality of consciousness? And is consciousness personal, limited? Maybe have to revisit that a few times until that's clear. And when this clarity gets more established, it gets established in our life when we have little challenges and we are able to somehow not get thrown off track for too long. Maybe we were thrown off track just briefly, but we come back to our understanding, the reality of consciousness. There's nothing actually at stake. So it is life itself, and presents us with many opportunities, and so we need to take these opportunities, take advantage of these opportunities, and to operate from a place of love and understanding. So this is an aspect of the path that establishes us as God's truth.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Amnan. Thank you all. Very lovely to be with you, Holger, and hey, Frank, Marga. Nice to see you, Marga, and Thomer, Amna. Hello, Kelly. And
Thank you, Magdi.
thank you all. Thank you all.